The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter had always been Jack Harper's hunting ground. For 15 years, he'd run the independent mining vessel Horizon, making a living where corporate ships feared to tread. But this run felt different from the moment they entered the designated mining sector. "Something's off," muttered Sarah Williams, the ship's sensor specialist, her fingers dancing across holographic displays that flickered with unusual readings. The standard mineral scan had transformed into a complex puzzle of energy signatures that defied conventional understanding. Jack leaned over her shoulder, his weathered spacesuit creaking with the movement. Decades of asteroid mining had etched lines of experience into his face, and those lines now drew together in concentration. "Those energy patterns aren't natural," he said, his voice a low growl that betrayed decades of space-hardened instinct. The Horizon's crew of 6 fell silent. They were no strangers to weird readings. Space was full of anomalies. But this was something else entirely. The asteroid itself seemed to pulse with an internal rhythm, its irregular shape suggesting something more than a natural space rock. "Preliminary scans are showing metallic compositions that don't match any known asteroid mineral profile," Sarah reported, her voice tight with professional excitement. "We're detecting multiple layered energy signatures, some of which are actively, well, I can't even describe it. They're not just static. They're responding." Marcus Rodriguez, the ship's engineer, zoomed in on the structural imaging. What had initially appeared to be a misshapen chunk of space rock began to reveal something extraordinary. Geometric patterns emerged, too precise to be natural, too complex to be accidental. "Jack," Marcus called out, "these aren't random surface formations. Look at the symmetry. These look like structural connections." The cutting lasers prepared for standard mineral extraction hummed to life, but Jack raised a hand. "Hold position," he commanded. Something in his gut told him this was no ordinary find. As the Horizon's external lights intensified, casting powerful illumination across the asteroid's surface, the true nature of their discovery began to reveal itself. What had seemed like random geological formations now looked increasingly like carefully constructed hull plates. "It's a vessel," Sarah whispered, a statement that hung in the ship's communications system like a thunderbolt. The size was staggering. If their initial measurements were correct, this wasn't just a small research probe or a damaged satellite. This was a massive spacecraft, somehow embedded within, or perhaps having become, this asteroid over an immeasurable period of time. Jack's mind raced through the implications. Independent miners like himself discovered valuable things. But this was different. This was historic. "System check," he barked, falling back on protocol. "I want full diagnostic. Nothing moves until we understand what we're looking at." Marcus ran a comprehensive scan, his fingers flying across multiple holographic interfaces. "Hull integrity is strange. It's not like any material I've ever seen. Parts of it are reading as both solid and energy state simultaneously. Some sections are showing quantum-level fluctuations that shouldn't be possible." The vessel's surface began to shift subtly under the Horizon's powerful lights. Microscopic apertures seemed to open and close, like the breathing of some enormous mechanical organism. Energy signatures that had been dormant began to pulse with increasing intensity. "We're being scanned," Sarah said, her voice a mix of terror and fascination. Something inside is definitely responsive. Jack knew they were at a crossroads. Protocol would suggest immediate reporting to mining authorities. Standard procedure would be to maintain distance and wait for official investigation teams. But Jack Harper had never been one to follow standard procedures. "Prepare boarding protocols," he said, his decision made. "But carefully. This isn't just another asteroid claim. This is something else entirely." Little did the Horizon's crew know that their discovery would soon reshape humanity's understanding of its own history and potential. The ancient vessel, dormant for countless years, was about to awaken, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. Would you like me to continue with the next section, or modify anything about this expanded opening? The moment the Horizon's boarding team crossed the threshold, the vessel's defense systems erupted to life with a precision that defied centuries of technological understanding. Quantum phase energy barriers flickered into existence, creating a complex lattice of protection that seemed to breathe and adapt with living intelligence. Jack Harper's hand instinctively went to his weapon, but it was already clear this was no ordinary defensive system. Holographic interfaces burst into existence around them, cycling through multiple human languages with such rapid succession that it became a dizzying display of linguistic complexity. "It's recognizing us," Sarah Williams muttered, her scientific mind racing to comprehend the technological marvel surrounding them. "These aren't just pre-programmed responses. The system is actively analyzing us." The interior of the vessel defied all conventional understanding of spacecraft design. Massive corridors seemed to shift and reconfigure, their metallic surfaces displaying microscopic changes that suggested an almost organic adaptability. The lighting was neither artificial nor natural. It existed in a state between energy and matter that made the human explorers feel simultaneously comfortable and profoundly unsettled. Marcus Rodriguez's engineering scanner went wild, producing readings that would take years to fully decode. "The material composition is unlike anything in our databases," he reported, his voice trembling with a mixture of excitement and scientific awe. "It's showing characteristics of adaptive nanometamaterials that should be theoretically impossible with our current understanding of physics." A massive chamber began to reveal itself, rows upon rows of suspended animation pods that stretched beyond the visual range. Each pod was a technological masterpiece, containing what appeared to be human colonists frozen in a state of technological preservation that made current stasis technology look like prehistoric medical treatment. The first active pod began its revival sequence with a precision that felt almost ceremonial. Soft blue-white light pulsed from within, gradually becoming more intense. Warning systems in the Horizon's boarding gear began to go haywire, detecting energy signatures and biological readings that defied conventional scientific understanding. "Biosigns are coming online," Sarah called out, her hands dancing across her scanning equipment. "But these aren't just standard life signs. The cellular integrity, the quantum-level preservation, this is beyond anything we've ever seen." The pod's transparent surface began to clear, revealing a figure that was simultaneously familiar and alien. A woman in what appeared to be a technical jumpsuit, her features suggesting a mixed ethnic background, slowly came into focus. But there was something different about her. Subtle genetic modifications that spoke of advanced medical technologies far beyond current human capabilities. A holographic interface erupted around the pod, displaying fragmented mission logs. Broken images and text revealed glimpses of a global crisis that had been completely erased from current historical records. Mentions of a near-extinction event, a desperate mission to preserve humanity, flickered between lines of technical data. "This isn't just a colony ship," Jack realized, his voice low and intense. "This is a survival ark, a last hope mission designed to preserve everything about human civilization." Marcus zoomed in on the mission logs, his engineering background struggling to comprehend the technological complexity. "Look at these propulsion systems," he said, pointing to complex diagrams that seemed to bend the very rules of physics. "These aren't just advanced. They're revolutionary. This technology could rewrite everything we know about space travel." The awakening pod completed its revival sequence, and the woman's eyes opened. But they weren't the eyes of someone just emerging from sleep. They were the eyes of someone who had been waiting, watching, preserving a mission across centuries. "Sequence Delta 97 initiated," she spoke, her voice carrying an accent that seemed to blend multiple linguistic traditions. "Preservation protocol activated. Humanity's continuity is our primary mission." Jack, Sarah, and Marcus exchanged looks of stunned comprehension. This was more than a discovery. This was a message from humanity's past, a message that would change everything about their understanding of their own species and its potential. The vessel continued to awaken around them, each moment revealing new layers of complexity, new hints of a history that had been completely lost to time. And they were just beginning to understand the magnitude of what they had found. Would you like me to continue with Part 3 or modify anything about this expanded section? The transmission from the horizon spread through human communication networks like wildfire, but it was the alien interception that truly set the galaxy ablaze with tension. Within hours of the initial discovery, the Galactic Confederation's emergency communication channels erupted into chaos. The Xanthari Diplomatic Corps was the first to receive the full transmission. Their crystalline communication arrays, capable of processing information at quantum speeds, immediately went into lockdown. Ambassador Krulax, a senior Xanthari diplomat with skin that shimmered like living mercury, watched the initial data stream with mounting horror. "This is impossible," he muttered, his 4 eyes blinking in rapid, synchronized patterns that betrayed deep psychological distress. The human vessel represented something far more dangerous than a simple technological discovery. It was a fundamental threat to the carefully constructed galactic power structure. In the Confederation's central chambers, representatives from 17 different species watched the initial reports with a mix of terror and fascination. The Myrian delegation, with their insectoid collective consciousness, began to pulse with collective anxiety. The silicon-based Krovax representatives initiated emergency communication protocols, their crystalline bodies vibrating with potential threat assessment. Jack Harper had no idea that his simple mining operation had just become the most significant diplomatic incident in galactic history. The human colonies themselves were equally stunned. The United Earth Diplomatic Corps found themselves thrust into a political maelstrom they were completely unprepared to navigate. Emily Rodriguez, the lead diplomatic strategist, recognized immediately that this was more than just a scientific discovery. This was a potential paradigm shift that could rewrite the entire human position in galactic politics. "We're looking at a vessel that predates our current space exploration by potentially hundreds of years," she briefed the emergency committee. "The technological implications alone are staggering. But more importantly, this suggests a hidden chapter of human history that nobody knew existed." The alien reactions varied dramatically. The Xanthari saw an immediate threat, a potentially advanced human technology that could upset the delicate balance of galactic power. The Krovax viewed it as a potential resource to be contained or studied. The Myrian collective saw it as an unprecedented biological and technological anomaly. Emergency sessions of the Galactic Confederation were called. Typically, such meetings took weeks or months to organize. This time, they were assembled within hours. "We cannot allow this vessel to become a destabilizing factor," Ambassador Krulax argued, his mercury-like skin shifting with agitated patterns. "The humans have already demonstrated an alarming capacity for technological adaptation. This vessel could provide them with capabilities that would fundamentally alter the current galactic balance." The human representatives found themselves in an unprecedented position. Normally considered a relatively young and somewhat primitive species, they were now the center of intense galactic attention. The discovery suggested that humanity possessed technological and survival capabilities that had been completely hidden from view. Sarah Williams, still aboard the Horizon, continued to send detailed scientific reports. Each transmission revealed another layer of complexity about the ancient vessel. The propulsion systems alone suggested technologies that could potentially revolutionize faster than light travel. The preservation technologies demonstrated a level of medical and biological understanding that made current galactic medical practices look primitive. Marcus Rodriguez's engineering analysis began to circulate through scientific channels, causing immediate and profound reactions. The vessel's adaptive nanometamaterials suggested a level of technological integration that was decades, if not centuries, ahead of current understanding. "We're looking at a technological ecosystem," Marcus reported, "not just a spacecraft. This vessel is essentially a living system of technology and biological preservation." The Galactic Confederation found itself facing an impossible scenario. Do they attempt to quarantine the discovery? Do they demand human cooperation in studying the vessel, or do they recognize the potential that this discovery represented? Jack Harper, still aboard the ancient vessel, remained blissfully unaware of the diplomatic storm his discovery had unleashed. To him, this was still a mission of exploration and potential profit. He had no idea that he had just become the most important human in galactic history. The vessel continued to reveal its secrets, and the galaxy held its collective breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Would you like me to continue with Part 4, or modify anything about this expanded section? The research facility on Titan Station became ground zero for humanity's most critical scientific investigation. Dr. Amanda Lawrence, head of Advanced Xenotechnology Research, assembled a team of the world's most brilliant minds to decode the vessel's technological mysteries. This isn't just advanced technology, she explained during the first briefing. Her holographic presentation showing complex energy schematics that made quantum mechanics look like elementary school mathematics. This is a complete reimagining of technological possibility. The first breakthrough came from the vessel's propulsion system. Initial scans revealed a method of spatial manipulation that didn't just bend space-time. It essentially rewrote the fundamental rules of physical interaction. The energy signatures suggested a technology that could compress vast interstellar distances into mere moments of travel. Marcus Rodriguez, who had been brought in as a key technical consultant, found himself struggling to comprehend the complexity. These drive systems, he muttered, examining holographic projections, they're not just about movement. They're creating localized reality bubbles that essentially negotiate with the fundamental laws of physics. The defensive capabilities were equally mind-bending. Quantum phase energy barriers could instantaneously adapt to incoming threats, creating protective fields that didn't just block. They anticipated and neutralized potential damage before it could even manifest. Weapon systems detected by alien reconnaissance suggested capabilities that could neutralize entire fleet formations with a single precise energy burst. But it was the vessel's data storage and preservation technologies that truly shocked the scientific community. The colonists' biological and genetic archives were so comprehensive that they represented more than just medical records. They were a complete blueprint of human potential, containing genetic modifications and adaptive capabilities that made current human genetic engineering look like primitive guesswork. We're looking at a species-level survival strategy, Dr. Lawrence explained during a classified briefing. This vessel wasn't just preserving humans, it was preserving humanity's potential to adapt and overcome. Alien scientific observatories began to panic. Intercepted communications revealed a profound terror spreading through multiple galactic research institutions. The Xenthari research collectives began emergency sessions, trying to understand how a species they had considered technologically juvenile could possess such advanced capabilities. The humans have been hiding something, reported Zintok, lead researcher of the Xenthari Technological Assessment Division. These technologies suggest a level of scientific understanding that goes beyond linear technological progression. This is something else entirely. The vessel's energy generation systems defied all known scientific understanding. Rather than extracting or converting energy, the systems seemed to generate power through a process that was more akin to biological metabolism than mechanical energy production. It didn't just produce energy. It created and managed energy as a living system. Communication systems found embedded within the vessel suggested technologies that could instantaneously communicate across impossible distances. Quantum entanglement wasn't just a theoretical concept here. It was a practical, manageable technology that could transmit information faster than light across potentially unlimited distances. Marcus Rodriguez discovered something even more profound during his detailed analysis. The vessel's technological systems weren't just advanced. They were adaptive. They learned, evolved, and modified themselves continuously, creating a technological ecosystem that was more akin to a living organism than a mechanical system. It's like the entire vessel is one massive, living computer, he reported, his voice a mix of scientific excitement and existential wonder. But not just a computer. a complete technological organism that can think, adapt, and evolve. The genetic archives of the colonists revealed another shocking layer of complexity. These weren't just preserved humans. They represented potential evolutionary paths that humanity could take. Subtle genetic modifications suggested capabilities that went beyond current human limitations. Enhanced cognitive functions, improved physiological resilience, and adaptive capabilities that could allow survival in environments previously considered impossible. Dr. Lawrence's team worked around the clock, each discovery more shocking than the last. They were decoding not just a technological artifact, but a complete blueprint of human potential that had been hidden for centuries. "This changes everything," she told her team during a late-night strategy session. "We're not just looking at advanced technology. We're looking at proof that humanity is capable of things we never even imagined." The vessel continued to reveal its secrets, and with each revelation, the galaxy watched, part in terror, part in fascination, as humanity's true potential began to unfold. Would you like me to continue with Part 5 or modify anything about this expanded section? The digital archives recovered from the vessel were a labyrinth of fragmented memories, scientific records, and personal accounts that painted a picture of a humanity most have forgotten. Dr. Emily Rice, the lead historical reconstructionist, worked tirelessly to piece together the narrative of humanity's darkest and most desperate hour. The first breakthrough came from a series of encrypted personal logs discovered in the vessel's central memory core. They revealed a global crisis that had been completely erased from historical records, a combination of environmental collapse, technological warfare, and a near-total breakdown of human civilization that had pushed the species to the brink of extinction. It wasn't just one event, Emily explained during a classified briefing, her holographic presentation showing a complex web of interconnected global catastrophes. It was a perfect storm of multiple existential threats converging simultaneously. Climate change had progressed far beyond the early predictions of 21st-century scientists. Massive coastal regions had been rendered uninhabitable, forcing unprecedented global migrations. Technological warfare had transformed entire continents into radioactive wastelands. Artificial intelligence systems had gone rogue, creating additional layers of global chaos. The vessel represented humanity's ultimate insurance policy. It wasn't just a colony ship, it was a comprehensive preservation mission designed to ensure human survival at any cost. Commander Michael Anderson's personal logs became a critical piece of the historical puzzle. A military strategist and genetic preservation specialist, he had been the primary architect of the vessel's mission. His recordings revealed a man who understood that humanity's survival depended on more than just physical preservation. "We're not just saving people," one log entry read. "We're saving the potential of our species. Every genetic line, every scientific breakthrough, every cultural memory, they're all part of humanity's core resilience." The genetic archives were particularly revealing. The colonists had been carefully selected, not just for physical and mental capabilities, but for their potential to rebuild and reimagine human civilization. Subtle genetic modifications suggested enhanced cognitive abilities, improved physiological resilience, and adaptive capabilities that went far beyond standard human limitations. Marcus Rodriguez discovered something even more profound in the technical logs. The vessel wasn't just a passive preservation system. It was designed to actively guide human development, with built-in educational and adaptive technologies that could help future generations understand their history and potential. "This is more than a time capsule," Marcus reported. "It's a complete restart mechanism for human civilization." The personal stories were perhaps the most heart-wrenching. Fragments of family histories, scientific breakthroughs, and personal sacrifices painted a picture of a humanity fighting for its very existence. Scientists who had worked to develop the vessel's technologies knew they would likely never see its mission completed. One particularly emotional log from Dr. Sarah Chen, one of the vessel's primary genetic engineers, revealed the human cost of the mission. "We may not survive to see this mission completed, but our children or our children's children will have a chance. That's all we can hope for now." The political records were equally complex. The vessel represented a last-ditch effort by a global coalition that had finally recognized the need for species-level cooperation. Nations that had been bitter enemies came together in humanity's final hour, pooling their last resources to create this ultimate survival strategy. Emily Reyes found herself overwhelmed by the magnitude of the discovery. "This isn't just a historical record," she told her team. "This is proof of humanity's most profound characteristic, our ability to hope, to adapt, to survive against impossible odds." The vessel's mission parameters were clear: preserve human potential, provide a pathway for species recovery, ensure that the knowledge and capabilities of humanity would not be lost, no matter the cost. As more of the history was decoded, it became clear that the vessel represented more than just a technological marvel. It was a testament to human resilience, a beacon of hope launched into the darkness of space when all seemed lost. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's story was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. Would you like me to continue with Part 6 or modify anything about this expanded section? The Galactic Confederation's emergency session looked more like a powder keg ready to explode than a diplomatic meeting. Holographic representatives from 17 different species filled the circular chamber, their collective tension so thick it could be almost physically felt. Ambassador Emily Rodriguez stood at the center, her carefully tailored diplomatic suit a stark contrast to the alien representatives surrounding her. She knew this was the most critical moment in human diplomatic history. "The vessel represents a technological and biological preserve of humanity," she began, her voice calm and precise. "It is not a weapon. It is not a threat. It is our species' ultimate insurance policy." The Zenthari delegation, led by Ambassador Krulax, responded with immediate hostility. His mercurial skin shifted through colors that represented deep psychological agitation. Blues of fear, reds of anger, shifting in rapid succession. "Preserve or prepare?" Krulax challenged, his 4 eyes focusing on Rodriguez with predatory intensity. A vessel with technologies that could potentially neutralize entire fleet formations is not a preserve. It's a potential extinction-level threat. The silicon-based Krovax representatives remained unnervingly still, their crystalline bodies reflecting the chamber's light in complex geometric patterns. Their communication was a series of precise mathematical equations projected onto their surfaces, a language of pure logic that translated roughly to deep concern and strategic assessment. Probability calculations suggest a 87.3% chance of potential galactic destabilization, their primary representative transmitted. The number hung in the air, a cold mathematical judgment. The Mirian Collective, representing a hive mind species, pulsed with a collective anxiety that manifested as a low-frequency vibration throughout the chamber. Their representative, a semi-translucent being that seemed to shift between solid and energy states, spoke in a voice that sounded like multiple consciousnesses speaking simultaneously. "The human potential for adaptive survival exceeds all previous computational models," the Mirian representative stated. "This vessel is not just a technological artifact. It is a living testament to a species' survival strategy." Behind the diplomatic facade, massive strategic preparations were underway. Alien military organizations began repositioning fleet elements, creating what was essentially a massive blockade around human-controlled space. Reconnaissance drones and quantum scanning satellites were deployed to monitor every possible approach to the discovered vessel. Rodriguez knew the real battle wasn't happening in this chamber. It was happening in the complex web of political relationships, secret communications, and strategic calculations happening across multiple star systems. "We are not seeking conflict," she continued, her diplomatic training allowing her to maintain perfect composure. "We are seeking understanding. This vessel represents our history, our potential, not a threat." But her words rang hollow to species that had spent millennia calculating and controlling technological progression. Humanity had always been considered a young, somewhat unpredictable species. This discovery changed everything. The Zenthari military advisors were already wargaming potential scenarios. Their strategic simulations showed multiple potential conflict trajectories, each more devastating than the last. If humanity could fully unlock the technologies within the vessel, traditional galactic power structures would be fundamentally altered. Jack Harper, still aboard the ancient vessel, remained blissfully unaware of the diplomatic storm surrounding his discovery. To him, this was still a potential economic opportunity, a remarkable scientific find. Behind the scenes, human intelligence agencies were working at unprecedented speeds. Every potential diplomatic angle was being calculated, every potential conflict scenario wargamed. They understood that this discovery could either elevate humanity to a new galactic status or potentially trigger a preemptive strike by threatened alien civilizations. "We are standing at the precipice of a new era," Rodriguez told the assembly. "We can choose cooperation or conflict. The choice is collective." The chamber remained silent. Each representative knew that her words carried more weight than any previous diplomatic exchange in galactic history. The vessel waited. Humanity waited. The galaxy held its breath. "Would you like me to continue with Part 7 or modify anything about this expanded section?" The revival process was anything but smooth. As each stasis pod came online, the vessel's internal systems adapted with a living intelligence that defied conventional technological understanding. Commander Michael Anderson was the first to fully awaken, his emergence a moment of profound scientific and historical significance. Unlike modern humans, Anderson represented a carefully engineered version of humanity. Subtle genetic modifications that enhanced cognitive capabilities, physiological resilience, and adaptive potential. His eyes, when they opened, held a clarity and depth that spoke of generations of carefully planned genetic development. "Sequence complete," he spoke, his voice carrying a precise cadence that suggested both military training and scientific precision. "Mission parameters initializing." The medical team observing the revival process found themselves completely unprepared. Anderson's physiological readings were unlike anything they had ever seen. Cellular regeneration rates that suggested near-immortal potential, neural pathways that showed enhanced cognitive processing, immune systems that could potentially adapt to virtually any environmental challenge. Dr. Amanda Lawrence, leading the medical observation team, found herself struggling to comprehend the full implications. "He's not just a preserved human," she whispered to her colleagues. "He's a blueprint for what humanity could become." The other colonists began to awaken in carefully orchestrated sequences. Each represented a different potential pathway of human development. Specialists in various scientific, cultural, and survival disciplines. Their collective knowledge was a comprehensive archive of human potential, preserved across centuries. The vessel's internal systems continued to adapt, creating living spaces that responded to the colonists' physiological and psychological needs. Walls shifted, environmental conditions adjusted, entire sections of the massive ship reconfigured themselves to provide optimal living conditions. Jack Harper watched in stunned amazement as the first group of colonists began to integrate their knowledge with current human technology. It was like watching a master painter work with primitive tools, reshaping and reimagining technological possibilities with each touch. Sarah Williams, the sensor specialist from the Horizon, found herself in the middle of the most significant scientific event in human history. The colonists began sharing fragmented memories, technological insights, and a comprehensive understanding of human potential that had been lost for generations. "We didn't just preserve genetic material," Commander Anderson explained during one of the first briefings. "We preserved the essence of human adaptability. Our mission was never just survival. It was about ensuring humanity's capacity to overcome." The Galactic Confederation's monitoring systems went into absolute overdrive. Alien scientific observatories detected massive technological exchanges happening within the vessel. Transfers of knowledge that seemed to rewrite fundamental understanding of scientific progression. Maria Rodriguez, a lead linguist brought in to help communication, discovered something even more profound. The colonists' language was a complex, adaptive communication system that went beyond traditional linguistic barriers. They could communicate complex scientific and cultural concepts with a precision that made current human language look primitive. The vessel itself seemed to respond to the colonists' awakening. Entire sections that had been dormant began to activate, revealing technological capabilities that went far beyond initial discoveries. Adaptive nanomanufacturing systems came online, demonstrating the ability to create virtually any technological solution with minimal resources. "We are not conquerors," Commander Anderson told the assembled human and alien observers during a critical briefing. "We are preservers. Our mission is to ensure humanity's potential, not to dominate or destroy." But the implications were clear. These colonists represented a version of humanity that had been carefully engineered to survive, to adapt, to overcome. They were living proof of humanity's most profound characteristic, the ability to reimagine itself in the face of impossible challenges. The first direct communication with the Galactic Confederation was a masterpiece of diplomatic precision. Commander Anderson outlined humanity's intentions with a clarity that left no room for misinterpretation. They sought cooperation, knowledge exchange, and a collaborative path forward. Jack Harper, watching from the sidelines, realized that his simple mining operation had become the most significant moment in human history. The vessel was more than a technological marvel. It was a beacon of human potential, a testament to the species' ability to hope, to plan, to survive. The pioneers had awakened, and nothing would ever be the same. Would you like me to continue with Part 8, or modify anything about this expanded section? The transformation was not gradual. It was instantaneous and absolute. Within weeks of the colonists' full awakening, human technological capabilities expanded exponentially. Propulsion systems that had once seemed like science fiction became practical engineering projects. Medical technologies that could regenerate entire organ systems moved from theoretical research to clinical trials. The Galactic Confederation watched in a mixture of terror and fascination as humanity underwent a technological metamorphosis that rewrote every existing understanding of species development. Commander Michael Anderson led the integration efforts with a strategic precision that was both diplomatic and revolutionary. He understood that this wasn't about technological superiority, but about collaborative potential. The vessel's technologies were shared not as weapons, but as collaborative opportunities. "We are not here to replace," Anderson explained during a pivotal galactic summit. "We are here to demonstrate what collaborative potential truly means." The first major breakthrough came in faster-than-light travel. The colonists' propulsion technologies didn't just improve existing methods, they fundamentally reimagined spatial movement. What once took months of travel could now be accomplished in hours. Entire star systems that were previously unreachable became accessible with a simplicity that shocked alien scientific communities. Dr. Amanda Lawrence's research teams worked alongside the colonists, documenting technologies that seemed to negotiate with the fundamental laws of physics. Quantum entanglement was no longer a theoretical concept, but a practical communication and transportation method. The medical implications were equally profound. Genetic modification technologies developed by the colonists could address species-level challenges. Diseases that had plagued multiple alien civilizations for millennia suddenly became treatable. Physiological limitations that were considered fundamental to various species were revealed to be merely temporary constraints. Jack Harper, the independent miner who had initially discovered the vessel, found himself at the center of this cosmic revolution. His mining operations transformed overnight, utilizing technologies that made previous space exploration look like primitive expeditions. The Zenthari, who had initially viewed humanity as a potential threat, began to recalculate their strategic assessments. Ambassador Krelax, once the most vocal opponent of human technological expansion, now found himself advocating for collaborative research initiatives. Humanity has demonstrated a capacity for adaptive cooperation that exceeds all previous computational models, the Zenthari Diplomatic Corps reported in their classified assessments. The vessel itself became more than a technological artifact. It was a living symbol of human potential, a reminder that survival was not just about technological capability, but about hope, adaptation, and collective vision. Genetic archives recovered from the vessel revealed that the colonists had been carefully engineered not just for survival, but for collaborative potential. Their modifications went beyond physical enhancements. They represented a holistic approach to species development that prioritized adaptability, empathy, and collective problem-solving. Maria Rodriguez, working with linguistic teams, discovered that the colonists' communication systems were themselves a revolutionary technology. They could convey complex scientific and cultural concepts with a precision and depth that transformed interdisciplinary collaboration. The Mirian Collective, representing a species that had always valued collective consciousness, found themselves particularly fascinated. The human approach to collaborative potential resonated with their own philosophical frameworks, creating unprecedented diplomatic opportunities. Economic systems were the first to feel the massive transformation. Technologies developed from the vessel's archives created sustainable energy solutions that could transform entire planetary economies. Resource extraction methods became so efficient that previous scarcity models collapsed. Commander Anderson understood the delicate balance required. This is not about technological dominance, he repeatedly emphasized. This is about demonstrating what collective human potential truly means. The cosmic revolution was not about conquest. It was about reimagining possibility. Alien scientific communities found themselves simultaneously terrified and excited. Humanity was no longer a young, unpredictable species. They were now a collaborative force that could potentially reshape galactic development. Jack Harper, looking back at the vessel that had started this entire journey, understood that this was more than a technological discovery. This was a testament to human resilience, to the power of preservation, to the fundamental human capacity for hope. The pioneers had awakened. Humanity's true journey was just beginning. Would you like me to add an epilogue or modify anything about this expanded section?